So I recently put a post on Facebook asking, what would you most like to get out of meditation? And I really don't know why after 18 years of teaching meditation, why it hadn't occurred to me to just ask, what would you like to get out of meditation? You know, what would you like to know about meditation, instead of trying to guess all this time without great success, I might add. Anyway, so I got quite a few answers, which I managed to condense into about 10, and I've got them in front of me on the laptop here. So this is going to be more or less a spontaneous response to these questions, since I haven't really answered them. I've just looked at them to see if I can condense them. There are some similar, so about 10, and I'll try to keep this in under 20 minutes. I don't think 10 minutes is going to make it. So the first question is, where does the desire, commitment and perseverance that you have each day to meditate come from? Where does the desire, commitment, perseverance come from for each day to be at it? Because I've been saying for a long time, meditation is a regular daily practice. Like the Buddha says, one drop at a time will fill the bucket. I like to add to that, but if you leave the bucket outside in the sun too long without adding to it, the content will dry up. So the main thing about meditation is consistency, regularity of practice. It really is what it's all about. So where does this desire, this commitment, this perseverance come from? And the short answer, there's a long answer to that, but the short answer to that is simple. And it's this: pain, suffering, and the knowing, the understanding, the fundamental understanding that the world of things, the outside world, ultimately cannot fulfill me at the deepest level, cannot fulfill my deeper self. Now, this understanding personally is still a work in progress. It's still cultivating. And it's through frustration, through disappointment, through adversity, through gaining only in order to realize that what I have gained can't really fulfill me deeply enough. It inevitably will go away. I remember when I was about 27, 28 in Miami, I'm standing on top. I was deeply, deeply heartbroken. I was standing on top of a 17th floor South Beach overlooking the bay, and I was deeply miserable, and I'm looking out into the horizon, and I had the thought, things come and things go. When they come, I feel good, and when they go, I feel bad. And I remember thinking, what is this but a form of slavery? But surely surely I wasn't born to be a slave. There has to be another way. Things come, I feel good. Money comes, I feel good. Money goes, I feel bad. And even when I have this, love comes, I feel good. Love goes, I feel bad. And even when I have this, it doesn't last. Nothing lasts. And there has to be another way. And for me, this is really when my deeper journey into meditation began. The world of things can satisfy us. We can excite our senses. It can gratify us at the biological level. It can gratify us and satisfy us at the psychological level. It can also partially satisfy us at the chemical level. We are biology, we are chemistry, and we are psychology. I mean, the form, the body-mind complex is essentially psychology, biology, and chemistry, which is the direct byproduct of the interaction between mind and bodies, what we call form, or excuse me, what we call emotion, what we call sensation. So the world of things can stimulate us at the biological level. It can excite us at the level of the psychological. It can entertain us and keep us absorbed. It can also reward us or fulfill us to some degree at the level of the emotional. But there is something deeper than that. There is a deeper self that cannot be truly fulfilled by these things, by the world of things. So for me, it has been a progressive journey. And ultimately, when you really start to wrap your mind around that the world can't fulfill you, and the only thing that can really fulfill you is the U-turn of your own awareness, for you to see yourself, which is what spirituality is all about too. Spirituality, the word refers to, it says spirituality, that which refers to spirit as opposed to biology, as opposed to chemistry, and as opposed to psychology. Is that the one I missed? So spirituality doesn't refer to biology. It doesn't refer to chemistry. It doesn't refer to psychology. Spirituality refers to spirit. So there is this deeper self, which is the spiritual self, which cannot be satisfied by biological, chemical, and psychological means. And when you really get that, and that only by you turning your attention, awareness inward, by being able to know this spirit self, which has hitherto until now gone unnoticed because of our preoccupation with things. Only this, the knowing of this, the return to this, the feeling, the intimate absorption in spirit, it's only that can satisfy. So when you really get that, and you recognize the futility of your outward actions to various degrees, for me, it has been a progressive journey. It wasn't sudden. There were the slow, progressive realizations that inevitably led me to knowing that if I don't do this, if I don't do this, I'm heading for disaster. So I have to regularly invest in this inward, let's call it practice. I have to put some investment there because it was clear to me that things come, I feel good, things go, I feel bad, but I'm not a slave. There has to be something which does not come and does not go. And that something is within. It's not within the body. It's not within psychology. It's not within our emotional nature. So we could go on, but the short answer is this: suffering, pain, and the understanding that the world of things cannot satisfy my deeper self, which is also there, but that I have until now been unaware of, and that I have to become aware of. So then that was convincing enough. The value proposition was strong enough, and I knew that one drop at a time will fill the bucket. So I have to persevere. I have to commit to this, and so the desire was born out of this knowing. So I hope that answered that particular question. So let's move on. We can talk about it forever, of course. But let's move on to our next question. The next question is, what are some simple techniques to help kickstart a daily meditation practice? And that's good news, is that if I specialize in anything, it is this, in helping people to set up a successful daily meditation practice. And so what are some simple techniques to help kickstart a daily practice? First of all, we have to understand that you have to cultivate a practice. It's not, you don't approach meditation with discipline. But meditating creates a discipline. So this is a kind of distortion. Most people usually approach any practice like meditation with the idea that they have to be disciplined. And that creates really a kind of antagonistic dynamic from the beginning. I was never disciplined. I'm not a disciplined person. But I understand that by doing, discipline is a byproduct of repeat action. Repeat action is discipline. Discipline is repeat action. So I approach it kind of through the back door. So that's the first thing, is that action. You have to take action. And so simple techniques to help kickstart a daily meditation practice. Breath awareness is probably the simplest technique that's out there, where you just find a spot, a comfortable spot, where you decide is going to be your meditation spot. You might have a little candle, which becomes part of your ritual. Every day that you go to this particular spot, you light up your candle. You sit, so you show up. Showing up is in itself a technique. It's probably the greatest technique, because meditation is not a technique. Just show up. I just show up. I close my eyes and I say, here I am, God. I'm showing up. I don't know what else to do. I'm just showing up. You do the rest, right? So it's a technique in itself. Another technique, as you show up, that you can compound on top of that, is just a simple technique that was actually introduced by the Buddha. And it was called anapanasati, which means a breath awareness. And you just sit, you close your eyes, you're breathing in and out through the nose anyway, so you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is you have to bring your awareness to the breathing, to the inhalation and to the exhalation. So you just bring your awareness. Now think of awareness as a young puppy. Think of your mind, in fact, as a young puppy. And undisciplined. It's all over the place and will run off with any old master, any old thought. So the mind is a young puppy. You must keep it on a tight leash. Keep it at this area. Keep bringing it back. Every time you find it drifting off with a thought, you don't try to stop your thinking. This is another fallacy, which we will address because there is a question which relates to this. You simply bring your awareness, your mind, your attention, your senses, because they are all related. I call this a perceptual apparatus. The senses, attention, the mind, the light of awareness. This is one unit. It's not, but let's think of it this way for practical purposes. Bring it to your nostrils and just watch the breath coming in, the sunrise, and then the sunset of your breathing. You don't control your breath. Please hear this. This is a simple technique that you can practice. Watch the breath going in, watch the breath going out. Have a little timer next to you and put it to 10 minutes. Start 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. Do it for 21 days. We're told that 21 days creates a practice. And just show up. Even if you don't feel like it, you just show up because you want to animate this spot, this space, your meditation space, with the energy of showing up. Let's not get too abstract. Just show up, sit down, put your timer on for 10 minutes and do not come out of it. Do not because you don't want to develop bad habits. Okay, I'm not sure if that answered this question, because what are some simple techniques? We could be talking about anything here to help kickstart a daily practice. Show up, set up a spot, get yourself a nice little candle, burn it each time you decide to sit. Regularity of practice. Do it for 21 days. Sometimes I run 21-day meditation challenges on Insight Timer, the meditation app. I'm one of their contributors there. So If you'd like to know more about that, get in touch also. Let's go to our third question. What are some techniques? So, what advice, this is our third question, what advice would you offer a new meditator from your 32 years of meditating? What advice would you offer a new meditator? Above all, the answer to this question cannot be addressed in a few minutes, but above all, the advice is what you have to understand the value proposition that meditation has on offer. Understanding what meditation is, what it isn't, what it is. Because there are a ton of myths around meditation, and maybe I will make another video about the 5 myths attributed to meditation. I'll tell you one of them. Meditation is about quietening the mind. It's not. Meditation has nothing to do with the mind. Not even the Buddha succeeded in quieting the mind. Big topic. We distance ourselves from the mind by recognizing that which was beyond the mind. We don't deal with mind. We don't deal with mind. We don't quiet the mind. We don't stop the mind. Good luck with that. So, what advice would I give? The advice of understanding. The more profound your understanding, the more astute your understanding, the more you get that meditation, what the value proposition that meditation has to offer, the more successful you're going to be. For example, many people associate meditation with relaxation. That's fine, but that's not what meditation, classical meditation, is about. Other people associate meditation with quietening the mind. That's not what meditation is. Yes, it can help us sleep. Yes, it can improve our general state of well-being and so on and so forth. These are great things. I'm not against those things. These are byproducts of the continuity of practice. But meditation is not about those things. Meditation is about something else. So you have to understand quite clearly what the value proposition, the highest value proposition. There are lesser ones, as we just highlighted. General well-being. Is that a lesser value proposition? Absolutely. When we understand what the deeper value proposition, what meditation is also offering the aspirant meditator. So we have to understand what the highest value proposition meditation is. And for example, you know, if you go to it's clear the value proposition of going to the gym, right? Everybody knows that. It's captured public imagination. But that's not so with meditation. It's still new. You know, if you go to the gym, you get more muscles, you get your ideal weight, you pay lip service to health, because really just going to the gym on its own does not create health. But, right, so you know what you're going to get out of, and that's attractive to you. That's a value proposition. You say, I spend $90 a month or whatever it is people pay to go to the gym. I will get this. It promises me this and promises me that. Now, these are value propositions, but they're not they're not the biggest value proposition that the gym offers, right? Because why do you want these muscles? Why do you want your ideal weight? Because you want to look, yes, attractive for the most part, but that's not even the value proposition. It's not that you want to look attractive also. It's that by looking attractive, as far as you're concerned, you're going to be able to, yes, you're going to be a worthy kind of, candidate for love. You're going to, you'll look more attractive to more people, to the opposite sex, etc., etc. I mean, let's face it, this is the bottom line. If there were no others around, you wouldn't care whether you had muscles or you didn't have muscles, and all. Okay, we're getting off topic here. But the point is, we understand the value proposition. Now, the difficulty with meditation, regularity of practice, is that the value proposition isn't really that clear to a lot of people. So what is this what I'm hesitating to bring into conversation what this deepest value proposition, because it can take us into some spaces we don't have time necessarily to cover, except to say the deepest proposition is self-realization. And self-realization, as we said earlier, self, we're not talking about the biological entity or the psychological entity or the chemical entity. We're talking about the self with a capital S. Self-realization, to realize. And look at this word, realize. In other words, to make real the self. I remember a beautiful line I saw in a movie. It was at the end of the movie, it was finished with, "You have to believe. How else can the unreal become?" In other words, reality is a product of faith. Reality is a product of belief. Reality is that which is made, which is, it's just, reality is that which you have agreed to accept as real. Or in the words of my good old friend Hans, he said once, reality is a reflection of what is, which is quite a very astute and simple, practical way of looking at it. Anyway, so what advice? Understand what you want to get out of meditation, as well as what the deeper value proposition that meditation has to offer, because that will take you on a learning curve, which really, in many ways, is the greatest blessing that you can be given. Okay, let's go to now, what is a good practice to follow? We might not be able to finish all these questions, but let's have a look at this. What's a good practice to follow? The good thing is I've already talked to some degree about that. A good practice to follow is repeat of habit. Wake up at a particular time. Go to your spot. That's a good practice. Show up. That's a good practice in itself. Have a little clock to time yourself for 10 minutes and don't get up. Decide that you want to do it for 21 days. That's good practice. It's not a technique yet, because we talked about the technique earlier. Anapanasati. It means breath awareness, continuous return of your attention. Bring your attention back to your inhale and exhale. Just 10 minutes. Go through the struggle. Allow yourself to be a beginner. Allow the learning curve to occur. We don't learn anything. Learning is a byproduct of doing. Learning is a byproduct of showing up. So what's a good practice? Show up. And techniques are available. They're a dime and a dozen. Some are ridiculous. They have nothing to do with meditation, but there are some real meditations out there. So leave your comments. Let me know specifically what you would like to know, and specifically about what you're talking about. You'll be able to guide future videos in respect to this. So what's a good daily practice to follow? Repeat of practice is the best practice. If you need help, there are groups. Join a group. I myself run a regular weekly group in Sydney, in Randwick. I do lots of talks on Insight Timer, and I've been doing this for the last 18, 19 years. I've had my own practice for over 33 years of daily practice. So, my friends, we're up to 24 minutes. I'm going to leave it at this. We've got another 5 questions, and I will address those in a second video. So it will be part 1 and part 2. Leave your comments. Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are. Guide me. What would you like me to comment on? And I hope this has been useful. I hope that you've got something out of this. And stay tuned for the second one. I'm going to do it now, but so that each one can stay short. See you soon.